Hi, everyone, and welcome to Decaf. I am your fill-in host, Mark Cunningham, and I am with a super special guest. We have Stephanie Witt, who is Beacon's executive vice president here. Taylor is, I don't even know where, I think in somewhere for a school choice thing, so she is not available, but we have a really good show, and Stephanie will replace her very well. So we're excited to have you, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. I know that you asked me instead of Justin because I was the more famous of the two of us, so I knew you knew that would work out better.
Yep, that is her words. I didn't say anything. Please don't fire me. So that's the problem, is either of you could fire me, so I can't be. I have to be polite to both of you. So let's start here with a really big development in Beacon world this week. For those of you who don't know, we have a great new lawyer, Wenfa, who we got for Pacific Legal. He's been fantastic. And he filed his first lawsuit as a member of the Beacon team this week. And the lawsuit is actually representing online auctioneers. Basically, in this law that Tennessee put in place in 2019 is unconstitutional. And what's interesting to me, and Stephanie, tell me if you agree, but it's actually a free speech case. So it's a First Amendment case saying that when you licensed online auctioneer, you're actually, you're breaking the First Amendment. So tell us a little bit more, about this case, Stephanie, and also, why this licensing scheme that we've been going after for a lot of years is so important to us at Beacon.
Yeah, well, I think everybody has the right to earn a living however they see fit. And you want to make sure that if there are any restrictions on that right, that it's only for health and safety reasons for the general public. Like, everybody can pretty much agree that doctors probably need to have some type of licensure to ensure that they know what they're doing before they start operating on somebody. But when you're talking about a profession like auctioneers that use their speech as their primary mode of working, they can't do their job without using that. To have that be licensed and restricted for really no protection from like a public safety standpoint, it's usually put in place for professions like this because they want to keep other people out of their professions. And it's more of an anti-competitive thing than it is anything else. And so the lawsuit's really important because even though we're representing online auctioneers, the ramifications of a decision on this case could go further than that, because might impact other professions that use speech as their primary mode of working. So if you think of things like tour guides, for example, I don't know if they have to be licensed anywhere, but if they would, they also can't do their job without being able to speak. And the same thing goes with these online auctions. The most egregious thing about this law that was put in place in 2019, specific to online auctions, prior to that, online auctions were not regulated in our state. But the auctions started to go more online. And so, of course, what happened was the Auctioneer Association decided, hey, because auctions are going more and more online, we want to license those people as well. But the public really needs to know that in doing so, they exempted eBay from that law. And so it's not more dangerous for somebody with a smaller company to do an online auction than it is for a large company like eBay. And so it really just shows that that this is really more of a protectionist thing and not for the general public.
And it's kind of doing the same thing that we always complain about, right? It's like giving big business a step up over normal people. It's the same thing as corporate welfare when you give these huge companies incentives, but like small business don't get those same things. And this idea that eBay is somehow exempted from this, who probably does, I don't know what the percentage is, probably most of the auction in the state, that it's fine for them not to have a license, but individuals like, Will McElmore need to have one. Like you said, it's cronyism.
Well, and the courts have already said that Tennessee can't regulate outside of the state online. And so you can have an online auction company in Kentucky that I can access from my computer, right? And buy something from their company. But because their business is not based in Tennessee, they don't have to be licensed if their state doesn't require it. And so what you're doing is creating a competitive disadvantage for those residents that live in Tennessee and build businesses here rather than those out-of-state folks.
Which you rather have the other way around. You rather have people from Tennessee having an advantage, not the other way around.
I'd rather have it across the board where you can, you have the right to earn a living, and especially online. It's when things are more automated too, there's less of a safety or like a fraud concern from that standpoint, because the highest bidder is going to get the item that's up for auction, and it's all automated online. And so it's a lot less chance for human error. So they're probably safer than an in-person auction to some extent. But that's really not even the point. The point is that you should be able to use your speech to do your profession.
And what we've talked about for a long time is, of course, we're not against all licensing, but it should, like you said, Stephanie, it should have to do with if you're putting somebody's life in danger, if it's a health or safety issue, we get it. But otherwise, it's just people trying to keep other people out so they can make more money. And this is another example of that. And there's a great write-up in the Tennessean about this. But Wen did an excellent job, and we're really excited for this lawsuit. And, people like Will McLemore, that's who we stand up for at Beacon on a legal center, the people who, basically the government's trying to not give them a voice and not allow them to make a living. And that's who we stand up for. And that's why our legal center is a pro bono legal center to stand up for people who've had their rights infringed upon by the government. So just a shout out to Wen and our whole legal center and our, our former attorney Braden. It's been a great time so far. And we're excited to see where this goes.
Yeah. And for Will, he is a licensed auctioneer, our client, and he actually has 3 employees that are not. And so what would happen to him is he has this auctioneer business. He does online auctions as a part of that. And those employees that aren't licensed would no longer be able to participate in that and wouldn't be able to work. And so that is the real pitfall to the law that's in place. And so we're challenging that on a constitutional basis. And I hope it's successful.
And just talking to Wen, I'm like, man, you are so smart. You wouldn't even necessarily think that it's a First Amendment thing offhand. He's like, no, because you use your voice, it is a First Amendment thing, and it's been a First Amendment thing in other states. So I'm glad we have him. We have a really great team here at Beacon, but his addition was kind of even elevated us to a further extent. So we're excited to see where this goes. Moving on. One of the big issues in national news, other than I guess what was a disaster of a debate last night, is the upcoming potential government shutdown. It's something that a lot of people are talking about, and I'm interested to kind of hear, Stephanie, your thoughts on is it going to happen? Because I think that's what everyone's talking about right now. I believe it's this weekend if they don't fund it, or it's some kind of continuing resolution or fund the government. Sunday, it will shut down. So is it going to happen? If it does happen, that's the other question: is it a big deal? I remember last time we had the government shutdown, and we talked about it's only the non-essential employees that are there, and I've heard it might affect air travel a little bit. It does impact our life sometimes, but I remember last time it shut down, I'm like, it didn't affect my life really at all. I get that it affects people's lives who had those jobs and being laid off. But ultimately, they get back pay as soon as they come to a government agreement anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like, you get a vacation for 6 weeks, you don't have to work. Like, sign me up for that.
They always get back pay when it reopens. For me, a government shutdown just reminds me of how non-essential some of the things the federal government does. Like, well, if you don't notice it happening and it doesn't impact you, and a month goes by, do we really need it? Maybe those are the questions we should be asking ourselves. As far as will it happen, that's anybody's guess, probably, because I can't imagine that they're going to come to some type of conclusion by Sunday. It's possible that they will, but likely probably not. It probably will at least go into a small shutdown.
So let's assume the shutdown happens. Who do you think is to blame for it? In terms of the public, not necessarily what person, but, right now, if you look at kind of political polls and things like that, Biden and the Democrats are really at like an all-time low. There was a Washington Post poll that showed Trump up 10 points on Biden, which has never been the case. It is crazy. And, people are not happy with how he's handled the economy, immigration right now. But do you think that Republicans might get blamed for this if it doesn't go through? Because, in essence, they're the ones who are holding it up and saying, we're not going to just agree to anything. What's your thought about who gets held responsible?
It's kind of an interesting scenario this time because you have it throughout history, when there's been a shutdown, it's been blamed on both sides before at different points in time, depending on who was in control and who wasn't. This time, you say Republicans are in control, but they're only in control of the House. And the Democrats have the other two. And so I think you have to really keep that in mind. Who I think is to blame is both sides, because I think we have a real problem with being able to come to the table and negotiate as adults and human beings right now in this country. But where the public will land on it, it depends on who has the better spin and PR in the news and who's able to do a better job. Right now, I think the general public, and we've seen this across in polling, is pretty down on the economy. They're down on housing affordability.
Mm-hmm.
They're down, and the party that's in charge of two of the things that you need to be in charge of are the Democrats. And so I do think that there might be a slight lean for it to be them that is going to get the public blame. However, if House Republicans, don't come across as being willing to negotiate or have a plan or have put forth something that they would vote yes on, then they're just saying no to everything. And that's not going to work either.
Yeah, your point's right. It's really what the spin looks like to people. It's how the media portrays it, which I mean, I think we know, if we're being honest, that the media tends to portray the Republicans as at fault for more things than they do the Democrats. But it will be interesting to see how that works, because like you said, it's if they were able to pass a budget, or they were to pass a budget in the Senate, and Biden says he'll sign off on it, but then the House doesn't do it, people are going to be more likely to blame Republicans, I think. If nothing gets done, you're right, it will probably be... Or
they're not even willing to put something forward.
Yeah, and really, I mean, truthfully, from a polling perspective, I think Republicans are probably, and President Trump are in the best place they've been, and probably since Biden took office. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts, the race, how it impacts people's view of things, but also maybe they get something done. Maybe we're wrong, and a lot of people on the right are saying, well, look, we elected you because we want you to be fiscally conservative. Voting on some crazy budget that's really expensive just to keep the government working when we're, what always happens, they fund these ridiculous things that have nothing to do with keeping the government open, right? And that's where people get mad. It's almost like the pork projects. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And again, if it does happen, what will it affect most people's lives? And the answer...
I always think of... I mean, it's not a whole lot at first. I think the longer that a government shutdown goes on, the more that it impacts things, because there's only a certain amount of reserves that they have for things like SNAP and TANF and those safety net type of programs. And so that's when you really start to see where it affects individuals' lives even further, especially those that are the most vulnerable. And so I don't think it'll go that long. However, they've got to talk to each other and come up with something that both sides can live with, because the reality is both sides have power right now.
Yeah, it's funny too, because no matter what happens, I feel like people get the most pissed about airfare. Like when they go to the airport and it takes a long time to get in, I think that's what upsets people the most of all. So that might have the biggest impact on people. Even an extra 15 minutes, you're annoyed. Like, oh, why are there not more TSA agents? Why is it taking me so long to get through? So really, that might be the biggest impact. Thankfully, I am flying out tomorrow. And my hope is that by the time I fly back, that hopefully things are taken care of, so I don't have to wait too long in the airport. But again, I'm
flying out on Thursday. So we'll see.
Oh man. Well, hopefully, and hopefully they come to an agreement that's, fiscally responsible and not, putting us in danger. That's probably not likely, but you can always hope for it. So the next thing we're going to talk about is probably something that you seem, I could not believe how your opinion on this, to be honest, but if you followed anything, that's literally every website, every news outlet, that Chief star tight end Travis Kelce is now
what you're gonna say.
Is now dating Taylor Swift. It seems like dating. She went to his game, and Stephanie, for one, is really excited about it, because I think she said, I'll let you talk about it yourself. But there's a lot of different opinions on this. It seems like the people online, and Taylor Swift is, I think we agree, she's the most famous person in the world right now. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, she's very famous.
She's more famous than the Pope. She's more famous than presidents.
About that,
I think she is. I mean, in terms of media popularity, she is the most famous. And I don't even like her, and I'm saying it. She is very famous. So
in the whole culture world, she is very famous. Yeah.
Yes. So the fact that all of the, everybody, ESPN, sports outlets, news outlets, CNN, everyone's reporting this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift situation. So what surprised me, we just had a talk about it Monday. I want to hear your thoughts on this relationship. It really shocked me what you said. And I disagreed so adamantly with what you said that it was important for me to get this on tape. And if you're right, I'll look like an idiot. But tell me what you think the future of this relationship holds.
Well, first off, can we just be happy that she's happy and that she's living her life? But also, I am happy that she has found herself a man who is not going to be intimidated by her fame and success, and that she can he's successful in his own right and is a good football player from what I understand.
Very
And,
good. Very good football player.
Yeah. And I like him and his brother. I actually listened to their podcast yesterday just because I wanted to tune in to see what he had to say about it. But I'm like, good for her. I think that it's like one of those things where she was in a long-term relationship, then she rebounded and dated that weird, that gross guy. And then now I think they're going to get married and have babies, Mark.
Yeah, so that's the one I want to say. Good for her. I'm happy, whatever. The getting married, I mean, it feels like she has, I know she's in one long-term relationship, but outside of that, it feels like she has a new boyfriend every like 6 months. And Travis Kelce.
She was just.
Well, no, outside of that one, though. I know, but if you talk about before and after that, it felt like she was, I know, she had one serious relationship. Let me say this, though.
In her 20s.
I'm not criticizing her. I don't think that's why I don't think it's going to last. Travis Kelce is not a serious person. He is a great football player, but and also his brother, like you said, his brother's actually better than him. Not better looking, but he's even funnier than Travis is. And I like Travis Kelce. It seems insane for you to think they're going to get married, though. I mean, he is just. I don't think that Travis Kelce's looking for marriage. I think that that's nothing that he's looking for. He seems like a guy who likes to have fun. Who's going to be like the 60-year-old, be like, oh, I'm ready to settle down now.
No, he is a smitten kitten. The way he was looking at her, oh my gosh, he is in love. So yeah, he may not have been ready to settle down, but if it's he shot his shot with Taylor Swift, and that was he's dating her.
So on your TV binging thing, you have to watch Catching Kelce, which is his dating show from 2016 on E. Did you hear about this yet or not?
Yes, no, I've heard about it, but this was also years and years and years ago.
Oh no, I just mean it's funny. It's like he is he's a good guy. Like maybe not a good guy. He's a funny guy, and he's charming. I get why she likes him. I don't like the mustache. I wish he would shave it. Yeah, I think she's more serious though.
If she likes him with the mustache, then she's really gonna like him when he doesn't have the mustache. So
that's true. That's true. The mustache and the way he dressed on the way out with that stupid. You saw like the outfit he wore coming out of the game, right?
Mark, the outfit was a shtick. It's the 1989 Painters set, and so it's supposed to look like that. And her album, 1989. He was born in 1989.
I understand. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. They're the same age, too, right?
Exactly the same age. He was born in October on her grandmother's birthday. Wow.
Gosh, you already know so much about this. It is funny how like everyone's saying they're connected. 50. Yeah, you are. And, I love Travis Kelce. He's a great player. So to me, though, and this is the next point, if you would have said 3 months ago, like you said, you didn't really even know who he was, this is maybe the most unexpected relationship I've seen. And not that it's weird, because we talked about that before the show. It's like, it's not weird, but it's like this random NFL tight end. It's not even a quarterback. It's not Aaron Rodgers or, Tom Brady. It's a tight end, which are not the positions that normally get a lot of love. Ends up with the most famous celebrity, and he's super goofy, super weird, fun, but like ended up with the biggest celebrity.
That's why they're compatible.
Okay, compatible, but super unexpected. The fact that you never even heard of this guy 3 months ago means, and again, he's not he's a big football star, but when you think about the NFL, that's not who you think about, right?
No, no, but I think it's perfectly her type. He is he's just a man, like the best tweet I saw that went viral over the weekend was that she was finally a boyfriend that doesn't look like a pale, sickly Victorian child who would have died of the plague. We cheered. Okay, well, I like that. And it's true.
He is for sure the best of any guy she's dated. But it's also so unexpected because you said this, that all she does is date artists. So it's unexpected from So it's unexpected from the idea that since she's been like 16 years old, all she's dated is artists. And this is 16 years later, she's going out of, so that's unexpected from that perspective.
But that's why they're going to get married, because she's been dating the same guys over and over and over again. And they're all I don't get this. They're all intimidated by her success, and they don't want to talk about her, and they do all that. It's just annoying. If you're dating Taylor Swift, then she's famous. You have to be able to handle that, or don't date her. But don't be oh, I didn't know. I can't believe she's so famous.
And it's also funny because he's the other way, where he talks to anybody about anything. It's he's on podcasts 4 times a week talking about even before this, he was dropping all these hints about it. They were talking. He is obviously
afraid to say.
He's
that
not
he
afraid.
likes her, which what does every girl want? Every girl wants for somebody to be like publicly like, yes, I do. I love you. I like you.
Yeah, some levels like, oh, I don't want to be even more in the spotlight because that seems to be your thing. But outside of all of that, it was unexpected from most people's perspective, and it makes you think about other celebrity couples. So I'll start. I'll let you think about 70, but like other celebrity couples, you're like, how did they get together? Like, where did they meet? Because I mean, this is like a tight end for a team like randomly, and is really through Twitter, I guess. But like the most unexpected couples that I think of celebrity are, this one's an old one, and we're both too young to really know this, but do you remember when Julia Roberts dated Lyle Lovett? The guy with the crazy hair, like insane. You should look him up. You don't know who he was.
I don't remember that.
Please Google him and say,
I know who Julia Roberts is.
Yeah, Lyle Lovett though was like, and he was a singer, kind of famous, but he looks ridiculous. And it's like them dating was shocking and the most crazy thing. And then like recently, seeing these people who just are not in the same circles, don't do the same thing. But the rapper Tyga, who dated one of the Jenners, I don't remember which one, is dating like Avril Lavigne. Kylie, yeah. Avril Lavigne, who's like the, late 90s Canadian pop star, who also married Nickelback's Chad Kroeger. So that's a weird thing going from Chad Kroeger to a rapper. And it's just, those are the ones I think of. What are the ones in your mind of celebrities you're like, that is, not that it's bad or good, it might work out, but that's so weird or unexpected that they're dating?
I have one. Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry.
That's a good one. I remember when that happened. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and they've had a child now. Like I don't know if they're married or still, I know they're still together. But I've always thought that one was really random.
It's weird too, because like he seems like a really low key, nice guy. And like she had married Russell Brand before that, who is like loud, obnoxious, maybe other things. But like that seemed like such a difference from the guy she normally dated.
Yeah, he seems like really normal and nice, and I mean, who knows what goes on in somebody's relationship, but they seem happy together, and they have a daughter, I believe.
Yeah, and they live in like Kentucky now, I think too. Like they moved to like.
Yeah, I mean, like it's what's going to happen to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
I will say that does strengthen your argument. That does strengthen your argument. That's like what they are. It's like somebody who's completely different than anybody she dated. Seems really normal, and like and I guess they are happy together. So yeah, that's a great one. And they're in. What's Orlando Bloom even in? I'm trying to is he in the Pirates of the Caribbean, or am I an idiot?
Yeah, wasn't he in that?
I think so. He's like one of those celebrities. He's in Elizabethtown, I think, but he's one of those celebrities I know. But I'm like, what movie is he actually in?
He was in that. Wasn't he in the shoe movie too, like the Nike movie about Nike?
Oh, I didn't watch that movie. Maybe.
I think he was. I don't.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't about Nike. Maybe it was just about shoes.
Well, something. But yeah, I feel like that somebody said about Al Pacino is like one of the greatest actors of all time. Like I only know him from the movie Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler, but like he's in like some of the most. I'm like, I don't even know what movies he's in, and maybe it's because I'm too young. But like, it's one of those guys.
Yeah,
he's in
wasn't he in
mob movies? Probably. That sounds right. Yeah. But I don't watch movies. But like that. That's what Orlando Bloom reminds me. Like I know he's in a lot of stuff. I know he's super famous. I just don't know what he's in.
Yeah.
But so that was a great answer by you. So we're going to cut this clip of them saying they're getting married. That is Stephanie's prediction. I think we made a bet that, and I think we bet lunch on it, that I think by the end of November, they will not be together anymore. That is my prediction. By the end of November, they will be broken up. I will buy you a nice lunch
married and babies.
Yeah, by the end of November, that's pretty quick. But we will, I do not think they're going to be together. And if they're still together by the end of November, I will buy you whatever lunch you want. I'll buy you Jason's Deli.
But we're going to like the Hermitage or something.
Oh, man.
But if they're not together, like good for her. She came back to America. She's dating an American again. She's been dating all these British guys.
You sound like Trump right now.
Like,
I hate Americans.
I'm happy for her. Good for her.
We can't export our women like we export our jobs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm glad she's a football player, not a soccer player. I will say that. And hopefully, if it doesn't work out, she opens her eyes to new, maybe athletes are the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, we will see. we will replay this clip in a couple months and see where it goes. So we'll have this tape. So I hope you're right. I would like to see it. We will see. Either way, you can't avoid it. So Stephanie, we appreciate your time and your insight on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce situation. I feel like it's like bringing an expert in to talk about something, and you deal with all the stats you've already talked about, the 400%. Before we go, tell us the stats about what Taylor Swift has done for football. Do you have those in front of you?
Oh, that's the other thing. All of these guys are so triggered. I feel like their wives are like, oh, well, like she's going to put them on the map, and they're just joking. But I think it's really funny that the effect, not funny, but like the brand effect that she has. If you don't like her music and you don't like her, that's fine. But you have to at least respect the fact that the sales of his jersey have gone up 400%. And there was a girl that I saw on Instagram that is going to the New York Jets game this weekend because the Chiefs are playing the New York Jets in New York, and they think that she might go to the game, and they want to catch a glimpse of her. Not even a Chiefs or Jets fan. I think she's a Steelers fan, but she still bought a ticket to go to the game just to see her.
That's crazy. I saw a hilarious thing. It was a Taylor Swift like fan group where they were explaining the rules of football. It's like, oh, if you get 4 downs, you have to get 10 yards. And then somebody, just the very basic rules. And then somebody comment, do the Bears know this? Because the Bears have not done well this year. So it was a funny comment based on that. But well, Stephanie, we appreciate your time. And thank you for listening to Decaf. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, any platform that has podcast. And next week, we will be back with Taylor and Justin. So this, I assume, will be better.
Yes. Yeah, so like and share this week's podcast, please, so that we can get more views than Justin and Taylor.
Yes, the Taylor Swift thing should do it. So, well, thank you, Stephanie, for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.